Hello and welcome to my EDL 850 case study. This is module number 14. This is a summary of the case that we're looking at. It takes place in a royal school, which is St. Regis School. And a situation occurs, probably one that many face that are being subjected to budget issues. This is a K through 8 school. It's located 25 miles from the city, and it's led by Principal Keith Sample, who's in his third year leading this lightly populated building. The school is staffed with 2 teachers in each grade, and that includes an intervention specialist for K through 4 and 1 through 5 through 8. They also have a media library specialist, Mrs. Lynn, who also acts as the computer lab teacher due to budgets. They can't afford a lab teacher. The building is mainly funded by the efforts of the PTA. The goal of the parent faculty was to purchase more computer software to align with instructional objectives. After doing the legwork to go with the 20 computers in the lab, the software and schedule of teachers bringing their students worked great for about 4 months until the teachers requested to use the software in their classroom as a supplement to their daily classroom activities. And this is something that could definitely occur. The teachers asked Mrs. Lynn to copy the computer programs, which is a copyright violation, so that they could be used in the classroom. The media specialist, Mrs. Lynn, agreed and ordered some blank CDs and made the copies along with Mrs. Evans, the president of the PTA. Mrs. Lynn distributed these to 2 third grade teachers, which is Mrs. Williams, who is a veteran teacher, and Mrs. Brandon, who is in her first year at the school, although she had served some time at a school prior to her coming to St. Regis. Mrs. Williams was delighted that they now had these copies to use in their classroom, while Mrs. Brandon refused the copy. Mrs. Brandon has some background where she previously worked at a district that took these copyright issues seriously, and she knew what Mrs. Lynn was doing was in clear violation of that. She approached Mrs. Lynn with her stance, but she was turned away. Mrs. Lynn basically is telling her that she's saving the district a lot of money, and she didn't care what they did at their old school. So Mrs. Brandon informed Mr. Principal Sample of what was happening, which he was unaware of, and she said that Mr. Sample then met with Mrs. Lynn in regards to the situation. He informed her of her error when it comes to copyright infringement, but Mrs. Lynn stood her ground, saying that she was saving the district a bunch of money. Mr. Sample then warned her that she needs to stop copying the CDs and collect the ones that have been already distributed that could cause the school, the district, and her some serious consequences. So the issue at hand here is the school library or media specialist is copying licensed programs purchased through PTA funding and distributing the copies to teachers to use in their classrooms. However, this is a violation of copyright laws because of copyright restrictions. The school, the district, and library media specialists could face serious consequences if discovered by the publisher. So the setting, as I said, is St. Regis School. It's a K through 8, 25 miles from a large city, houses approximately 420 students, 2 special ed teachers, and this is a low school funding and budget. Some of your key characters in this scenario: Mr. Sample, Principal Sample. He has been well supported by staff and community from his 3 years of being there. Mrs. Lynn, she's worked alongside Mr. Sample and the teachers to prioritize a list of technology resources that align with instructional objectives. She served as computer laboratory teacher due to small population and budget. Mrs. Williams, she's a veteran teacher and willingly accepted the copies of the software and thanked Mrs. Lynn for making it available to all teachers. Mrs. Brandon, first year at St. Regis School, she was the teacher that refused because of the copyright infringement and then notified Principal Sample. And Mrs. Evans, the PTA president, she helped make copies of the newly purchased computer software. The computer software company is involved here. The licensed software of this company is knowingly being copied by a school district, which is a clear copyright violation. Mrs. Brandon, a first-year teacher at St. Regis, is being put in a tough situation to act with integrity and report her peer to the principal, which we all know is not an easy thing to do. A principal that has worked 3 years to gain the respect and support of the teachers in the community is forced to make a lawful decision, which may not be a popular decision, in contrast to turning his head and saving the school a lot of money to support the individual needs of the students. Mrs. Lynn, due to the limited financial resources, is forced into the computer lab position, as well as her daily duties as media specialist, which may not have given her a lot of time to know the laws, even though she should have if she was in this position. Mrs. Lynn feels as if she is using her resources wisely to save the school a lot of money, though despite where her heart may be, she is violating copyright laws and could be subject to consequences. Copyright laws state that you cannot make copies of commercial software licensed to your school or district and distribute them to teachers or students. Commercial software license stipulates that software is covered by copyright. Although one archival copy of the software can be made, the backup cannot be used except when the original package fails or is destroyed. When in doubt, ask for permission, carefully read the licensing agreement for every piece of software you use, know your district policies on such matters, and check with your district technology coordinator for software licensing details. I've also listed down here, after some research I did, I listed our district at Pickerington Local Schools and what their policy is when it comes to technology privacy. In one sentence, this can be summed up. In order to save money for the school district, the media specialist copied commercial software, distributing the copies to individual teachers while committing copyright infringement in doing so. Some of the known facts and unknown facts. Mrs. Lynn, we know that she committed infringement, and Mr. Sample was informed by Mrs. Brandon. What we don't know, what action did Principal Sample end up taking with Mrs. Lynn, other than just telling her what she needed to do. The place, St. Regis School, again, limited funding program, is a K through 8, 2 teachers per grade, and an intervention specialist for K through 4 and K through 8. I would assume that this is a private school, but it's not specifically stated. Some review here. According to the Purdue University, the legal penalties for copyright infringement are: the law provides a range from $200 to $150,000 for each work infringed. The infringer will pay all attorney fees and court costs. The court can issue an injunction to stop the infringing acts. The court can impound the illegal works, and the infringer can go to jail in extreme cases. I've also listed here a link to some educational copyright exceptions. Some more review here. Possible people who could be damaged by this decision. Mrs. Lynn, obviously, she's facing an ethical decision to stop what she is doing. Depending on the outcome, she could face legal implications and or loss of job, depending on board policy. Mr. Sample, he has been presented with the situation and now has the responsibility to act in an ethical and legal manner on his findings. The St. Regis School District may be made responsible for this situation depending on how board policy reads and how they end up handling the situation. Mrs. Brandon, you might not think of her in this situation, the one that reported it, but her decision to report this could create a new situation for her with her peers, even though she's making a legal and ethical move as far as an educational leader. This could create a lot of tension between not only her and Mrs. Williams and Mrs. Lynn, but also the other staff members, because they will be losing this resource in their classroom. All stakeholders have not been consulted. The principal obviously knows about this. School administration and the superintendent, or whoever wrote the board policies, need to be contacted, as well as the owner of the copyright, and inform them of what actions they have taken as a district. Principal Sample has a responsibility to address his staff and PTA and review copyright laws with them, making known what the St. Regis School District policy is on such matters, because in reality, a lot of teachers do not know that they are committing infringement. Yeah, I could learn more about the situation. It's important to know what board policy is on the situation, what the ramifications are for violating this policy, if one is in place. Also, what does the computer software company copyright specifically state about those who infringe against them? And finally, did Mrs. Lin end up complying? And do I know enough? I don't think I know enough yet. I think there's still some unknowns out there in order to make a specific call on this situation. So my choices here, I could take no action, in which I would make no decision. I could speak with Mrs. Lin, and if she agrees to stop making copies and collect the ones already in classroom and proves this to me, I will take no further action and squash the matter, which seems to be a popular choice among my peers. I could not only confront Mrs. Lin, but let her know that I would be reporting this to the superintendent, in which he or she would handle the situation from there. I could contact the commercial software program and inform them of the situation, but I would only do that after meeting with my superintendent. And I could address my entire staff and inform them of the school policy and the situation that occurred in regards to copyright infringement and the legal implications of committing such violations. So pros and cons here, you can look at those there. Number one, this would, if I did nothing, this would have benefit Mrs. Lin and the teachers in the short term, but I could lose possible respect from a sound educator, and I would be responsible if the company found out. Number two, if I just stopped with allowing her to collect the CDs and stop making new ones, would benefit me knowing I squashed the copyright infringement. However, ethically, I'm not doing the right thing. Mrs. Lin would face any legal issues, but wouldn't face any legal issues, but she would have to stop making the CDs, which would cost the district more money and probably anger the teachers. Number three would be doing the right and ethical thing, but also cause dissension with the staff. Could put us in a bind contacting the commercial software company. And number five, non-negotiable for me, if this situation happened, I'm responsible for my staff and to educate them on the laws. How can you choose your decision to be implemented with the greatest care and to the concerns of the stakeholders? I would want to make sure that Mrs. Lin know that I was coming from a good place here. I wasn't out to get her. I need her to know that I'm trying to protect my integrity as a leader, but also the integrity of the district, which means making tough decisions. I want her to know that I empathize and understand why she was making the decision she was making. However, I need to be upfront and honest with her and let her know what I am going to decide to do. I will remind Mrs. Lin to stop making the copies and collect the ones she's handed out. I plan to meet with her to make this decision, so this is the conclusion I've come up with. I will let her know that she needs to cease copying the software and collect all copies already distributed. As an educational leader, I believe it's my legal and ethical responsibility to inform my superintendent and this computer software company to protect the school, which is bigger than all of us. Ultimately, my superintendent will make the final call. In addition, I will address the entire staff and PTA on copyright laws, board policies in regards to the topic, and revisit building norms when it comes to copyright infringement. And I posted a link there if you are unsure about what that is. I also thought about the things that could happen. Again, when you're making a situation like this, there are things that, as a leader, as an educational leader, when you act out of integrity and ethics, it's not always seen very well by all parties involved. So I listed those there. And here are my references. I hope you enjoyed my presentation on this case study, and I thank you very much.